got about 3 weeks now of me clicking go live on the Restream dashboard and it going, no, hit it 15 times. If you hit it 15, then it'll go live. But no, not just once. Hi, everybody. I'm Pugs. Welcome to the Rant for today, September 11th, 2025. Yeah, if that name, that date sort of resonates with you, it's because you're old. You're old like me. Let me tell you something. I tried this earlier today here at the gallery. We had some young people, younger people. And by that, I mean under 30, some young people. And I walked in and, hey, everybody, how you doing? And I turned to one of them and I said, never forget. And they looked at me and they said, forget what? That's right. Forget what? Never forget. We used to, that was branded into us. We hear the term never forget. We all had bumper stickers. Never forget. And here it's almost like today isn't the 24th anniversary of the absolute worst thing that I and anyone of my generation, or probably other generations as well, have ever had to sit through as an American. It's not about that. Instead, what today is about is just fucking hating on people, just hating each other, more so than it was before. I know we're very divisive in this country. We've been divisive for years, but today it's worse. And I just wanted to remind everybody that maybe just maybe, we could be reminded of that day, because on that day, and I guess this is kind of an unfair, it's like I'm taking the life experience of 2001 and I'm trying to compare it to the life experience of 2025 and where we are mentally with each other. And I guess that's not fair. It's not fair because, well, quite frankly, there's been 25 years for us to get all fucked up and hate each other. But on the day of 9/11 and the days that followed, there was a weirdness to this country because remember, this, although it wasn't at the level it is today, we had Whitewater and Monica Lewinsky and blah, 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 and what was his name? Newt Gingrich. And it was all kinds of fucking anger and beef between the parties. There always has been. And we thought it was as bad as it was ever going to get. Oh, what's this new thing? The Drudge Report? The emergence of Breitbart. All of these, now we look at them as, consistence of our daily media life. But back then they were upstarts. They were upstarts that were supposedly going to amplify the voices of those that were being ignored by mainstream media. And over 25 years, man, here we are in the 24th anniversary of 9/11. And I said to a grown-up human in America, never forget. And they were like, forget what? Forget what? Do you remember? Do you remember when every member of Congress on the right and on the left, just as a show of national unity, they came out on the steps and they all held hands and these people who had been beefing for years about everything Clinton related, everything hanging Chad related, whatever. At least in that moment, they were like, okay, this is real. This is about us. And they all held hands and we all went, oh. I guess that's because there wasn't a 500 million bots on Twitter saying the most awful things, the most inappropriate things that no normal right-thinking human being would express in that moment. Imagine that today. Imagine if 9/11 happened today. Could you imagine all the congressmen and all the senators from both sides coming out and holding? Not a fucking chance. You know what would happen in the minutes after the planes hit the towers in 2025? What would happen after is, one of two thoughts that we'd see flooding the American narrative of the moment. It would be, this is what happens in liberal cities and state or whatever. This is what happens with, warmongering. It wouldn't have been, God bless America, God hug your neighbor. It wouldn't have been that. It wouldn't have been what it was. Why? And what's the only difference? The only difference is the way we communicate has changed so remarkably. The anonymity provided by shit talkers online has changed us as people. I obviously had a conversation with my son, 16 years old. My son is a 16-year-old young white Texas football player. And here's the text he sent me. Of course, I got this. We have fairly heady conversations. So here's the text that my 16-year-old son sent me. Well, Pops, Charlie Kirk being shot today was not on my bingo card. All right. It's just kind of a bland statement, an observation. There's no right, left. There's just a bland statement, an observation, right? Hey, Pops, didn't have Charlie Kirk being shot to death on my bingo card today. And he follows that up with, I don't care what his views were. That is not how we conduct business in America. That was my 16-year-old son. I was proud of him for that because, my 16-year-old son, he hasn't decided what his political views are. And he's really smart. And he's also really intuitive about, the people that he's with and the people that he's around. And he sees, here's what he sees in his everyday life. He sees people who voted for Trump, who are conservative, but good people, good conservative people who voted for Trump. And look, if you don't think that's possible, then you're in the crazy 15% on the left. If you don't think there are good people who voted against Trump and there are good people who voted for Trump, then you're, dare I say, radicalized. My kid also is surrounded by a whole bunch of moderates, his dad included. And I like to think that I have an outsourced sort of influence on him in the way that we look at the world because I don't preach. And he looks at me and he's like, I don't know what my dad is. The world, I look around the world and they've made it really easy for me as a 16-year-old. You're either one of them libtards or you're one of those crazy MAGA people. But I look at my dad and I don't know what he is. He's sort of like normal is what I am. And my kid is normal too. I appreciate that. My kid's big into 911 too, because I raised him right. Oh my God, at 4 years old, I'm making him watch long form videos of the towers. And oh my God. So today's show, certainly at the top, we're going to talk a lot about the aftermath of yesterday. Okay. I know I haven't been doing a whole lot of shows this week. Usually we do this show every day around about 2:00. Been doing it since 2021 every day. And I missed a couple of days this week. And there are a bunch of stories that I want to talk about with you folks in the chat room and, kind of chop it up. I want to talk about, I know it's so old now, but my God, I've got so many takes. And I think they're original takes because I have not heard anyone else who has the exact same take as me or even remotely similar take as me on that awful Philly Karen situation from last weekend. I got to get it off my chest. It's been days. I've been trying. So yeah, I'm going to bring that back to at some point today. I got to talk about that. Then the other thing that I want to get into is the Charlotte murder case. That beautiful Ukrainian woman who was just slaughtered there on a train. We got to talk about that too, because there are ways to look at that and ways to discuss that I don't think we're hearing anywhere else. You got the libtards saying one thing, you got the crazy, put them all in camps, crazy Nazis saying another. We're also gonna look at some people who said the absolute fucking wrong thing. Oh God. Today is not going to be about any criticisms that I have for people's political affiliations today. Probably will not include many on the right. Give the people, why? Because I'm a normal human being and I understand that today the right, very volatile. Don't fuck with them. They don't need to be fucked with. These are people who are mourning something that they care deeply about. I might not be there mourning with them, or maybe I am. You don't know. Who fucking cares? My point is this. Leave them the fuck alone. Read the room. You don't need to be an asshole today. So we are going to talk about some of the ways that the Democrats responded terribly. The Democrats, they always trip over their own dicks. We're going to show a couple of ways that the Democrats behave terribly. And then, if you're looking for an alternative party or an alternative group of people to vote for, I'm going to show you some Democrats who did it right. Or maybe not necessarily Democrats, but some liberals. Some people, perceived liberals. Well, I'll give you an example just off the top. The New York fucking Yankees. The New York Yankees last night in the 7th inning stretch basically stopped the game to put up a giant memorial for Charlie Kirk. New York City, New York Yankees. Now, I could expect that at a Texas Ranger game, maybe a Houston Astros game, an Atlanta Braves game. Place red states where, but New York, liberal New York, where they're running a communist for mayor, there were no boos, which was good. Actually, let me take that back. I shouldn't give that credit. I don't know. Excuse me. Guess I don't know if there were boos. There was burps. That was a burp. I don't know if there were boos. But the Yankees did that. And when I saw that last night, I went, fuck yeah. They get it. They get it. The New York Yankees. Of course, the New York Yankees. Of course. They have the greatest PR people in the world. It's goddamn Manhattan. Where do you think the greatest PR people are? They're in Manhattan. And they work for all the big. So, of course, the New York Yankees have a fucking PR team that gets it. And that's why they did it. They did it because they knew that it would go a long way to ensure that the Yankee brand isn't necessarily identified with one or the other. Because just on the look of it, you would think, libtard Yankees, them New York, So no, they did. They were smart. They went, let's put a thing up. Let's fucking honor them. A lot of people, a lot of Yankee fans out there, a lot of Yankee fans are hurting today. And so instead of being obstinate in the moment, like many would do, fuck that guy. We're not going to say anything. How about we just say nothing and just play the game? Instead of that attitude, they went, no, you know what? We can actually score points. We can actually score brand points by seeming like decent, normal people who understand that a large part of our fan base is going through something awful today. So you know what? We're going to take a moment, stop down, and we're going to pay a little attention to them. That is brilliant PR. Brilliant. So congratulations to them. And there's some other examples of people who did it right. We're also going to focus on the ones who did it wrong. We're also going to get you all caught up on what's the latest in the manhunt. I was so mad yesterday. I'm driving up to Bottle Rockets. Wednesday night we do Bottle Rockets trivia. Come one, come all. Bottle Rockets Legacy Village. Oh, it was fun last night. More on that later today. So I'm driving up to Bottle Rockets and a tweet. I see this tweet's from the director of the FBI. Director of the FBI. By the way, I'm driving in my car. I'm waiting for the press conference from the FBI and local authorities there in Utah. I'm waiting for the press conference to start. And while I'm waiting for the press conference to start, Kash Patel, we got him. We got him. This is the director of the FBI. The suspect is in custody. And I'm like, fuck yeah. All right. That must be what the delay for the press conference is. And like 5 minutes later, the press conference starts and the FBI guy comes out and goes, we do not have anyone in custody at the moment. We had to release, they had a suspect. They had to release them. Like, we don't have anybody. And I'm like, what the fuck? That dude's boss just said they had him. All right, are we back? I don't even know if we're back. I don't even know if we have anybody, but this goddamn restream went off again. It just turned off for no fucking reason. Now I'm mad. Okay, looks like everybody's back. All right, I apologize. How long was I gone? I don't even know what I was talking about now. Oh, there we go. Frank, thank you. Frank says I was still on the Kash Patel thing. Sorry, April. It's Restream. I don't know what the fuck Restream is doing, man. This is the third show in a row where I started and then all of a sudden it's like, got to restart. So anyway, I would like it if the fucking director of the most powerful investigative police organization in the world wasn't on Twitter saying wrong shit 5 minutes before his underlings officially informed the public. That was nonsense. That was yesterday, right? Get up, dude, just Look, you know what the FBI should be doing? They should be issuing, if they're on Twitter at all, which I think is an important place to be, because that's where official information gets disseminated these days. The FBI should be on there as the FBI from the office of, not the actual fucking guy talking shit. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to... It's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. What it is it's upsetting, because it is another one of our institutions that I grew up believing that there was a final say, or at least an authoritative opinion from. Just another one of these institutions that, is just now a clown show. Fuck. All right, so let's get into the latest. Let's figure out exactly what's happening here. The latest on the Charlie Kirk investigation. They have released a picture. We'll show you. We've got a picture. They found a gun. They found a gun with scrawlings, although I haven't seen what the scrawlings are, but they're reported to be Here's all we know about the scrawlings. Trans and anti-fascist. That's all we know about the scrawlings. I'd like to see the scrawlings. I always like to see the scrawlings. Because that's a thing now that we do. Apparently, we the crazy people among us, they like to write little love notes on their bullets and on their weapons. All right, here's the guy. This was taken from. Let's make it a little bigger. There you go. He's a slight fella. Look at the stuff. Here's how you know he's a slight fella, because it looks like he's wearing a backpack, which is pulling his shoulders up and thinly sort of into a narrow position. Or he's not wearing a backpack and he's just like, skin and bones. A very slight individual. We got nothing to go on here. I mean, I don't have anything to go on. I'm hoping the FBI and local authorities or whoever is investigating this thing has something to go on. Let's see. There's another one. Make that. There we go. Let's see. There you go. Okay. Profile, or a little bit of a profile. Got to be honest. This is only going to be interesting to about two of you. He looks like my friend Bill Leff. He does. He looks like my friend Chicago radio icon Bill Leff. But all right, so that's what we got. We got a picture of him here. Yeah, there's Frank's here. Thank you, Frank. Frank in the chat room. He's keeping us up to date on all the things. I've got this alert here out of Utah. Frank says, be on the lookout. All Caucasian males in Utah. Haha. That's right. But there is actually something happening right now. Let me see if I can go to my police scanner. No, that's Boulder. All right, never mind. I don't want to waste time with it. But I think they're going to catch this guy, and I think they're probably going to catch him relatively soon. All right, here. So let's see this story. Where is, do we have anything more on this guy? Let's see what they know. The roof thing, too, is pretty cool, right? I mean, these are all the things that we get the next day. We get to see all of the stuff that in the moment while we were covering this live, that we missed. Here's what we have. FBI releases photo of person of interest connected to the shooting. It says the FBI has released 2 photos of a new person of interest in connection to the fatal shootings of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. There you go, Utah Valley. Couldn't remember that name yesterday. Now I'll never forget it. Anyone in the public who may have information identifying the person you see here should call 1-800, call FBI, or leave a tip. Kirk, a political activist, was shot and killed while attending a plenary. We know this. While it is unclear if this person in the photos released is the suspected shooter, as officials refer to the individual only as a person of interest. All right, let's wreck this guy's life. He's wearing sunglasses inside. That's sketchy. He's wearing all dark colors. I don't know if we could say he's wearing all black, but he's wearing all dark colors, sunglasses inside. He's got a backpack. What's in the backpack? Osama. All right, so they don't know. I think we're going to catch this guy. I think we have to catch this guy. Here's what I think. Here's the problem. Going back to the FBI director tweeting every bit of nonsense that pops into his stupid little cross-eyed head. Here's the problem. They're going to catch some guy. Somebody's going to take the fall for this. I have no doubt. There is no way that this, Kash Patel's FBI is going to not put somebody in handcuffs. There's no way. There's just no way. So somebody out there is going to end up taking the fall for this, I believe. Now, the problem is, again, with, having an FBI director who tweets nonsense. The problem is that I don't know that I have any faith in the FBI anymore as an organization, nor if I had all that much faith going into this. But certainly now we're in a whole different area. So they'll get somebody, and it will all be like, yeah, what is this, another Lee Harvey couldn't have done it alone situation or whatever? I don't know. Somebody will take the fall for it, though. Because this is not one of them stories that they're going to look. And there's a conspiracy theory out there that we're going to delve into. It's crazy. It's crazy. Do you like the conspiracy theories? I don't. You know me. I'm not a big Q guy. I think those people are hysterical. But, when your aunt starts taking them seriously, that's when I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't just hysterical. Maybe this is problematic. But there are some conspiracy theories. There's one conspiracy theory out there that we'll get into. All right, what else do we have here? All right, so we got the picture of old boy, or at least a picture of somebody that the FBI and the local authorities are calling a person of interest. Hold on, let's see. What's the chat room have to say about all this? Not much. Okay, that's fine. All right, come on, I guess the chat room isn't having a conversation here. I think it was Barney. I don't know if it's Barney or Byron, one of you snowflakes out there. I don't want to blame both of you. Somebody, and we're going to get into this shortly, somebody, is shit talking on Twitter. Somebody can't read the room, and somebody is just an asshole, or at least they believe they can be an asshole because of the anonymity provided by social media. We always feel like we can say the things that we wouldn't say to somebody in real life. Like if we were out in a bar and we ran into somebody, we probably wouldn't say, "You're a fat, stupid pedophile." Why? Because we'd probably get our jaw broken. But that doesn't happen on Twitter. So, you can do whatever the fuck you want on Twitter. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I got distracted and probably didn't finish that thought either, but that's okay. All right, let's do this. As we continue to look for the subject. And by the way, I'm monitoring stuff, and I need the chat room too. If the chat room sees something, if something breaks on the search for the Twitter, I need you guys to start screaming. And those of you that have my phone number, text me or something, just let me know. Because sometimes I have different windows open and I'm not necessarily looking at the screen. Let's see here. Al says there's a conspiracy theory about a black dot on Charlie. I haven't seen that. Really? Black dot? Like shoot him here? No, there's a much bigger one. There's a much crazier one. April says, I have Lookner playing on another device. All right, well, thank you, April. You're at the source that is going to give you the information first. It's not even close with Lookner. This dude's always 20 minutes ahead of everybody else. So you let me know. You let me know if Lookner gives us anything, okay? Thank you, April. And it was so great seeing April last night. April came out the bottle rockets and absolutely wiped the floor with everybody. It's crazy. Good job. I think April probably went home with more prizes and shit yesterday in 1 hour or 2 hours of trivia than she has in the combined 20 hours she's already put in. Probably more than 20 hours. But we did it a little differently last night at Bottle Rockets. We gave a lot more prizes away. All right. Yeah, Al, I get it. Al's like, the black dot was right before he was shot. Yeah, we got it. We get it. There's more, though. There's more than just the black dot. And we're gonna get into all of that. Because holy crap, that I waste a good hour of my life this morning falling down a Charlie Kirk assassination bunny hole or rabbit hole, whatever we call them. April, yes, everybody did hate you last night at Bottle Rockets. Everybody hated you because everybody's trying to win, and you guys had 2 perfect cards. So I tell you, I can't, as the trivia master, I can't win. I can't win. People, these questions are too hard. And another person will come up to me and go, these questions are too easy. I'm like, all right, fuck. I got to find a happy medium. April ran the table last night. Good for her. All right, let's see here. Let me give you some examples. All right, here you go. Here's a good example. the reaction to it, because I don't want to focus on, I really don't. You know me, I'm not a divisive guy. I don't want to focus on Charlie was an angel. Charlie was a monster. Charlie, I don't want to fuck that. All right. I'm good at reading the room. Here's what I read. There are a lot of people out there who are pretty upset. A lot of people out there who are sad. A lot of people who are in mourning. So I'm just going to leave that shit alone. You just got to leave those people alone. If you're out there tweeting right now, fuck Charlie Kirk, you're an asshole. Okay. I saw a video today of a dude who went to a Charlie Kirk memorial and started walking around going, fuck Charlie Kirk. And he got his ass beat. Like by 50 people, they just beat the fuck out of him. And while one, I'm appalled at the mob mentality in the gang beatdown of one obviously fucking twisted dude. I mean, imagine you're a guy who goes, I'm going to walk into a crowd of a bunch of Charlie Kirk fans on the day he was assassinated and talk about fuck Charlie Kirk. What's going on in that guy's mind? All right? That's fucked up. Hold on. I'm doing the show in my underwear. And as any guy will tell you, sometimes you got to readjust down there. Okay, so bad Dems. I'm sorry. Let me try and stay on point. I'm streaming. The show is a stream of consciousness. It's just whatever my next thought is. Let's talk about some bad Dems and how they shit the bed in reaction. When you should just keep your mouth fucking shut. All right? Anybody dies. Like you've seen these people, like some celebrity will die and somebody, I never liked that guy. Nobody fucking cares about that opinion. And why are you putting it out now? One, because, nobody can touch you because you're on fucking social media. And two, you have some weird desire to let the world know that you're a fucking asshole. Good riddance. All right, so we don't do anything. So if you look at you got some hot takes on Charlie, and keep your fucking mouth shut. Cover the story. There were a lot of people say, I'm protective of the media because I had journalism school and I've worked in major market media since 1992. I've been on talk shows that drive the narrative of any given community since I'm 20 years old. And I've never once been told or advised or censored by any sort of either government entity or management. Okay. So I've never seen this. Well, they're told what to say. But we do have media now, like MSNBC, that's what we're going to talk about, who are just obviously carrying water for one worldview and one ideology. They are not journalists. They are not covering news. They are not informing us of things that are happening. They are attempting to shape the way we view the things that are happening. Fox News is the same. Now, CNN has always taken the brunt of all of the criticism. Why? Because CNN doesn't do that. CNN does other things that you can be critical of, but CNN is not explicitly tied to either the left or the right the way MSNBC and Fox News is. So consequently, what has happened to CNN over the last 5 years is they have taken it from everybody. Fox News thinks CNN is crooked and fake news and all that. MSNBC thinks that CNN is fake news. And so, our news distribution network is completely fucked up. News used to be an old man smoking a cigarette telling us the worst fucking news of the day and then moving on. News today is a hot fucking bimbo in a party dress at 9 a.m. trying to make us see the world in a way that she and her bosses want us to see it. So that's what we're dealing with. But even in that environment that we know exists with the news that we choose to watch because it's the news that we agree with, even in this environment, on days like yesterday, it becomes so obvious that the people that they have on the air are fucking radicalized. MSNBC is filled with radicalized mindsets. And that's why I don't watch it. Fox News is also filled with radicalized mindsets. But there is a difference, like the way I view those two entities. By the way, I don't watch CNN either. I don't want anybody to think, oh, Pog's big CNN. No, I don't. I used to tell you to watch News Nation, or at least let's sample News Nation because it's a new emerging place for us to get this stuff. But no, fuck that. News Nation sucks. News Nation has made a weird fucking turn in the past 6 months, I don't watch that shit anymore either. I'm back to Sky fucking News. I'm back to watching European people talk about us. Why? Because they're the only people I trust who aren't going to be dyed in the wool, either red or blue. They're just looking at us from like 30,000 feet going, what the fuck's going on in America? I can tell you Sky News' coverage of Charlie Kirk last night was fascinating. It was fascinating. It was very informative. But MSNBC employed, I use the past tense, a guy named Matthew Dowd. So I'm going to play a clip from Matthew Dowd yesterday in the moments following the murder, the assassination, whatever we want to term it. It was an assassination. He was an influential individual who was, pushing a political message, and he was killed. That's an assassination. I know a lot of people, it's not, I saw people on Twitter or whatever. Actually, this was Blue Sky. Blue Sky's nuts. Blue Sky is where you go right now if you do want to see the fucking assholes doing a jig for the death of a 31-year-old dude. Anyway, Matthew Dowd went on MSNBC. And again, this is an example of these moments when we're like, oh yeah, they really are radical. They really can't be fucking normal. No matter what. So here, let me play this. I'm not even sure whose show it is. I don't know who's on MSNBC. I really don't. It's all very, where's the clip? Is there a clip? Oh, they took the clip down. We don't have the fucking clip. Look at that. The clip of Matthew Dowd from MSNBC yesterday in the moments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk have been taken down. He's fired. They let him go for this. So let me tell you about what he did. MSNBC senior political analyst Matthew Dowd was reportedly dropped by the network on Wednesday after he blamed Charlie Kirk for his own assassination live on air. Just hold your thought. I know there might be some of you on the left who are like, but, just hold your thought. Just let me finish. Matthew Dowd was dropped by the network on Wednesday after he blamed Charlie Kirk for his own assassination live on air. Citing an unnamed network source, CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter reported on Wednesday evening that Dowd was no longer an employee of MSNBC. First, Brian Stelter is back at CNN. Don't you remember when they fired him like 2 years ago? It was a huge deal. It was like, CNN, because Trump critic and media analyst Brian Stelter has been fired. He was fired. Now he's back. He's quietly back. You know what else CNN did that with? Remember the dude who got caught jerking off in the Zoom meeting during COVID? Remember that guy? Is that Jeffrey Toobin? Yeah, never forget. Never forget. Jeffrey Toobin during COVID, he thought his camera was off or he thought the meeting was over, so he pulled his pants down and started jerking off to his coworkers. I think it was the New Yorker. And all of his coworkers were like, dude, you're still on camera. And he's like, bleh. And CNN at the time, they were like, oh, Jeffrey Toobin, we must fire him. This is unable. Yeah, they waited about 9 months and then they brought that fucking perv back. And now every time I see him on CNN, and I do from time to time, I can't take him seriously because he jerks off in work meetings. I don't know. Anyway, so it's the same thing with Brian Stelter. I thought Brian Stelter was blown out of CNN for some crazy reason, but now he's back. They bring him back quietly. Citing an unnamed source at the network, that's MSNBC, CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter reported on Wednesday evening that Dowd is no longer working at MSNBC, just hours after MSNBC President Rebecca Cutler issued an apology regarding his comments. Here's what her apology, here's what MSNBC's apology, we haven't even gotten to the comments yet. Here's what the apology was. During our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable, said Cutler. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. The network received backlash after Dowd blamed Kirk for his own assassination, mere moments after the Turning Point USA founder was shot during an event at Utah Valley University. After bizarrely suggesting that Kirk may have been shot by a supporter firing a gun off in celebration. Yeah, y'all, I don't know if you've seen the clip. I saw the clip. I can't find it now. Fuck, I got to stop. Here's what I got to start doing. When I take clips to use on this show, I got to stop taking them from legitimate news sources. I got to go find some crazy person who has taken it and, because the legitimate news source, oftentimes, if it's a good enough clip, they'll be like, yeah, we're sorry. We shouldn't have put that up. And that's what seems to have happened here with the Matthew Dowd case. I pulled this off Mediaite. Mediaite does this all the time. I do like Mediaite, though, because it's great content. After bizarrely suggesting that Kirk may have been shot by one of his supporters firing a gun off in celebration. See, this just right here, that's from Matthew Dowd. This idea, or at least the idea that he's putting out there to people watching MSNBC, that it's just a bunch of Yosemite Sams on the right. That everybody on the right is, woo, it's stupid. And also, anybody who saw that fucking video knows that wasn't the case. So, Matthew Dowd, what the fuck kind of shit were you just spewing? Were you just diarrhea of the mouthing? Was that it? Just blah, 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 ha, ha. All right, so he suggested that, and then he went on to say he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech, Dowd said. He goes on to say, and I've always, and by the way, there's moments after the shooting, and he goes on to say, and I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. You can stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then say, you can't stop. Sorry, that's important. You can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and then not expect awful actions to take place. And that's the unfortunate environment that we're in. And I bet after Matthew Dowd said that on camera, he just sat back feeling very smug and superior. Yes, that was good. I have eliminated all emotion from my response, and I have said some things that are cold and callous and certainly not in the mood of the room. But whatever, I'm Matthew Dowd and I'm superior. Well, he got fired for that. And rightfully fucking so. If I was the program director there at MSNBC, in this moment is not the time to be fucking Al Sharpton. In this moment is not the time to be Rachel Maddow doing an editorial at 9 o'clock on a Monday night. Now is the time to cover the news like a motherfucking journalist. Who, what, when, where, why? That's what it was about. Not waxing poetic about what the motivations of someone we don't even know who the fuck they are. That shows how radicalized the mindsets of the people at MSNBC are. And again, I can do the same thing for Fox News, but we're not talking about Fox News right now. We are talking about MSNBC, okay? So stop with the whataboutism. So Matthew Dowd got fired. Now let's break down what he said, because honestly, I 100% agree with this statement. Are you ready? Hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. 100% agree with that. Matthew Dowd, you're right. You're right. Fucking, the world that I live in, a hateful thought that leads to a hateful fucking word to somebody typically leads to a hateful punch in retaliation. Talk shit, get your jaw broke. That's the street version of what he said there. And I fucking agree with that. Here's where I don't agree. And this is why he should have been fired. Because he's too stupid to be able to surf the narrative of the moment. He's too stupid to understand now is not the time. The New York Yankees weren't. Remember I told you about the Yankees, how they put that thing. Now is not the time to stand on, because I can imagine there were people inside the New York Yankees PR that were like, I can't believe we're doing this. Well, they're doing it for a greater reason, because they understand the room. Read the fucking room, Democrats. Dowd's comments sparked uproar, including from Fox News host Jesse Waters, who called on MSNBC to fire the senior political analyst immediately. Great First Amendment advocate Jesse Waters. See, that's the other side of this thing. Here we have a young man, 31 years old, who I think we can all assume whoever killed him because he didn't like what he was saying. As a terrible thing, right? I mean, the defense of provocateurs, to use a non-divisive word, provocateurs, their gig is to get you pissed off, and the reaction is what they're farming for. Okay, so provocateurs, they're around. I was a shock jock for years. I understand what a provocateur is. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to get. But Jeff, that's what it is. It's like Jesse Waters. He's a guy who hides behind the First Amendment all the time, and rightfully so. Look, I'm not a Jesse Waters fan. I think he's I think he's a very effective young climber. That's what I think he is. I think he's very effective. He knows what he's doing, and he's playing the game like a fucking genius. Oh, Omar, God bless him, man. Cashing big checks and But for him to like demand someone be fired over something they said, I mean, what happened to like cancel culture? What happened to like we hate cancel culture? I mean, it's so crazy. But yeah, he got fired, and I happen to agree that in this case he should be fired, but not because of what he said, not because of what he thought. I don't care. I might even agree with him. He's being fired because, again, he's not a good broadcaster, doesn't understand the room, doesn't fucking get what is going to hit with audience and what the audience is going to want to hit you for. So he's got to go. So he's stupid. Can't fucking calm down. All right, here's another example of some Dems behaving badly. Fuck you, Google Drive. Trying to seamlessly move to the next topic in Google Drive. It's now demanding that I re-sign in. And of course, because, I've been working continuously on this page since about 7:45. Hold on. All right. Let's see if I can get back in. No, motherfucker. Really? Sorry. There we go. All right, we're back in. Thank you, Google Drive. Well, I see that you've been working pretty consistently on this page for the last 8 hours. I think you're done. We're going to sign you out. Thanks, Google Drive. Good decision. All right, so some more examples of Dems behaving badly. Comes to the United States Congress. And again, another example of how radicalized people on both the right and the left, an example of how they're radicalized is that they can't fucking read the room. So yesterday, a bunch of Charlie Kirk's friends there in Congress, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, right? She's fucking nuts. Although we're going to talk about her again later. She's a foreign agent. She's a total foreign agent, but whatever. It's not time for me to go into my whole what I think about that chick. Because she's doing some interesting things with UFOs. And we're going to talk about the UFO stuff later. But anyway, back to this. So Congress is mourning the news of the passing of Charlie Kirk. A very influential, conservative, he's an important person in that world of politics. And they call for a moment of silence. And then I believe they call for a prayer, right? A whole bunch of Democrats were like, no, like in the guy, like in now. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and sit down and allow these people to mourn their friend. You're being an asshole standing on principle because prayer has no place in it. Well, then don't fucking participate. Let them mourn their friend. And for you to take a stand, and a whole bunch of Democrats did, for you to take a stand in this moment is absurd. And it tells me you have zero ability to read the room because you're driven and motivated by one thing, your own I don't want to say that. Your own radicalization. Your own radicalization is what's driving you. You are radicalized, so you can't just roll your eyes when they say, let's do a prayer, and keep your fucking mouth shut. You gotta, as a Democrat, go, no, we object. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up in this moment. It'll be over. A normal person, were they out in the public and they were with a group of people, if the group of people they were with were maybe of a different religion or a faith, or maybe you don't have any faith at all, but you're with these people, in the moment where they say, here's an example. I do not pray. I don't say grace, right? I think and I meditate and I do all those things, but you can't really call it prayer. But I think the end result is very similar for me, right? What I get out of it, I think, is very similar to what people who are devout Christians or whatever it is that their religious affiliation is, what they get out of prayer. I get the same thing out of other things. So I do get it. But I'll go from time to time. You know me, I'm famous for being the stray. I'm the stray at holiday dinners. Somebody brings me, I'm always the guy. Look, you all grew up this way. You all grew up going to big family holiday dinners, and every fucking year there was some dude that was there that you'll never see again. He's dating your aunt or whatever. You know, that guy, that's me. That's kind of who I like to be. I'm like the stray at every holiday dinner I've been to for the last 4 years. And it's kind of a cool spot to be in, because people talk to you a lot. So tell me about yourself. Anyway, being the stray is a great gig to get. And you're special because you're new. You're special. They cater to you. Would you like more? No, don't take any more of that. Pugs, would you like more? Well, I think I would like the last of the mashed potatoes. Yeah, you get treated great as the stray. But you do get weird looks from the kids. The kids are always like, are you fucking family? What's going on with you? You gonna be around next year? If you're lucky, you show up a couple of years in a row and then you vanish forever. And then 30 years later, all those kids are sitting around and they go, hey, remember that dude that showed up to Thanksgiving and Christmas like 3 years in a row? What was his deal? What was up with that? Anyway, when I go to these things as a stray, oftentimes grace is being said at the table, right? I don't pray. I'm a lapsed Catholic. I don't do that. But guess what I don't do? I don't go, no, I'm not going to. So you know what I do? I hold hands and I bow my head and I close my eyes and I wait for it to be over and we move on and we enjoy the meal because we're normal fucking people. The Democrats in Congress who could not just shut their fucking mouths and sit down in this one moment when these people were going through something very volatile. Their friend had just died. Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. Let them take over. But the Dems cannot fucking control themselves. All right, let's see if we got video of that. Hold on. Here we go.
Please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family.
What the hell? Oh, it's a moment. I'm like, did the video freeze? It's a moment of silence. All right, so let's come on. Let's go. How long is this moment? What is the appropriate timeline for a moment of silence? And here we go. Let's give the Dems credit for keeping their mouths fucking shut during this.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
Right, here's Boebert. Boebert wants a prayer. She's like, let's say a prayer. All right, it's Boebert asking for a prayer from Johnson. Oh no, here come the Dems can't shut up.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order.
Okay. Fucking friend of mine. That was that Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. Like, I want to say a prayer for a fucking friend of mine. And that made Johnson go, all right. Now, in this case, I think that the Paulina lunatic and Johnson, Reverend Johnson, I think that they're in the right. I think that they are in the right, and a normal, decent human being just bows their head, keeps their mouth shut, and goes, you know what? I would require this level of respect if it were a friend of mine who was just killed, right? All right, hold on.
The House will be in order.
Here it goes.
Let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. Shh.
Come on, pull
the House will be in order.
What is with this C-SPAN feed? Pull the mics up so we can hear them yelling at each other.
We will join prayer right after this, okay? The chair lays before the House a communication. The House will be in order.
Woo! What is that? All right, just remember that entire disruption is entirely because some, not all, because there are some that are getting it, but there is still a radicalized wing of the Democratic Party in Congress that couldn't allow them to say a fucking prayer for their friend. Think about that, you fucking jerks. Shut your mouth, let them do it. They're not telling you to participate. They're not handing out cards and you don't have a part in it. Just shut your mouth and let these people mourn their friend minutes after he's been pronounced dead. If you can't see to get out of the way of that, you're a fucking moron, and that's the problem. All right, so we got that. All right, so now let me show you that if you are a Democrat, and you know we've just thrown a spotlight on the people that fucking shit the bed with their response and how they went with it. You are now going to see a couple of examples of how they did it the right way, right? The good Dems, bad Dems kind of thing. All right, so let's go now. Let's go now to Governor. What's his name? Ben Shapiro? No, I'm pretty sure that's not it. Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro, Democratic governor of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Colorado Governor Jared Polis. Let's give credit. Both Democrats are following President Trump's lead on Wednesday night by ordering all flags in their state to be flown at half-mast in honor of Charlie Kirk. Shapiro gets it. Shapiro's like, yeah, no, we'll do that because I understand that I'm the governor of all the people here in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure that Charlie Kirk was quite popular among a great many people who probably didn't vote for me last time, but you know what? There's no reason for me to antagonize him here. I'm a Democrat in a state that is purple at best. So here I'm going to do this because I'm Josh Shapiro and I know how to fucking play the game. You think Josh Shapiro would have been in Congress going, no, we're not doing it? No, he would have shut his mouth, bowed his head, and, you know, if the camera was around, it would look like he was participating. But he plays the game well. Same with Jared Polis. And it's no surprise that we're talking about two Democrats who are not necessarily in the AOC wing of the party. We're talking about two Democrats who are closer to where I am in life. A moderate who thinks we should probably not fuck around and be mean to people unnecessarily. That's really our driving thing. Other than that, let's fucking build the economy. Let's be good for business. There's a couple other issues I don't want to go into, but, you know, the more polarizing ones I've left off the table in this conversation, but you get me, right? So here you have two governors. J.B. Pritzker, my governor of the state I used to live in, he's probably not going to do it, but he fucking should if he wants to be president. Just go with it. It hurts no one. The only reason you're not doing it is because of your own ego. Your ego says that this was an enemy to your party and who you are. Your ego is stopping you from doing something that will actually make people who dislike you go, maybe he's not as bad as I thought. But your ego doesn't allow that because fuck Charlie Kirk, right? Josh Shapiro gets that. Josh Shapiro's home was firebombed when his entire family was sleeping there a couple of months ago. Josh Shapiro has been a major target of all kinds of crazy politically charged aggression. His house was firebombed. Do we forget that? His house was fucking blown up by a crazy far-right guy. Wasn't it like a holiday or something, with Easter weekend or something like that? Be afraid of this guy. Be afraid of this guy. Josh Shapiro knows how to play the game. He really does. All right, there we go. That's your good Dems and your bad Dems reacting to yesterday's Charlie Kirk assassination. Let's see. What else do we have? We did that. Okay. So here, I want to address this before we get into some of the more, how do I say it? Things I'm interested in. Things that don't necessarily deal. Can I say another thing too? Somebody said yesterday, we were talking about it at Bottle Rockets, and somebody was, I don't say the person, they worked there, but they expressed that they didn't like him. They didn't like Charlie Kirk, but they also expressed that they didn't think that this was the way to show that you don't like somebody. But then they went on to say, the thing that really hurts me the most is that baby boy. That baby boy. What is his life going to be now? And I stopped her and I said, hi, I'm that baby boy. He's going to be fine. He's going to go through a different life experience than maybe what was planned out for him, having a loving mother and father. But you know what? He's going to be fine. That baby boy didn't know his dad. I know this because I didn't know my dad. That baby boy is going to grow up with people who did know his dad telling him about how incredible his dad is. He's going to get the most photoshopped version of his dad's life. And if he's anything like me, he will recognize that this could be used to his own benefit by sometimes portraying himself as the sad little boy without a daddy. But don't worry about that kid. That kid's going to be fine. That kid's going to be fine. Those kids are going to be fine. Maybe the older one is going to have some memories. But that little baby boy who's just like a year old, I told her, don't feel bad, because that was me. I said yesterday, my mom got the knock on the door by the police at noon or midnight while I was sleeping in my crib, and her life changed forever. Those kids are going to be fine. And my mom wasn't a millionaire either. those kids are going to be fine. You feel bad for the wife, you feel bad for the widow, all of that. But don't seriously, don't wring yourself out thinking that this is the worst possible thing that could happen to that little baby. It's a terrible thing, but that baby, I'm saying, is not going to know anything different. That's the thing that I always go to when people say, so what was it like growing up without a father? I always say, it was basically just growing up. I got nothing to compare it to. It's not like I remember my past life where I had this big family of 5. No, I was given my life, and my life did not include a father. But you know what it did? It included a mother who is better than all of your moms. And I'm sure all of your moms are great. But I got like a double dose of ass kicking mom. So when people say, what was that like? I'm like, well, I didn't know anything different. It's pretty good. My mom and the people around me, they gave me everything. So don't let yourself get all emotionally turned about the kids, because I'm seeing a lot of pictures of the beautiful wife and the beautiful kids and him, and what a great looking family, but the kids will be fine. All right, there you go. I wanted to get that out. All right. So another thing that I do want to talk about here, though, is, and this is the more, now we're going to start going into the fringes of the story, right? By the way, it looks like, hold on. Are they setting up for a press conference? I thought the press conference was supposed to happen. I don't know when that. All right. Trump's giving Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Okay. All right. Here's what I want to talk about. Okay. So yesterday there was. Did you see that TMZ was trending? TMZ was trending. And TMZ was trending yesterday because, first of all, they do something that I didn't know that they did. They do a live newsroom feed of news as it breaks with Harvey Levin, who Harvey's hysterical because Harvey, I believe, is 95 years old and he's trying to pull off 45. And it's kind of working. It's kind of working. I'm staring at this thing as I watch this, and not the entire thing. I fast forwarded. It's about 6 hours. It is a full day long. Basically, the newsroom at TMZ has cameras everywhere, and they're just constantly streaming. So you see the, for lack of a better term, how the sausage is made. Anyway, so there was a story circulating yesterday about how moments before CNN broke, or TMZ, moments before TMZ broke the news that Charlie Kirk was dead, you could hear in the newsroom from like off camera somewhere in another room, you heard an explosion of applause. You heard people going, yeah, wow, right. And then about a couple of seconds later, Harvey Levin on camera at TNC goes, it's confirmed now? It is confirmed? All right, Charlie Kirk has... So it was circulating by the likes of the Laura Loomers and all of these people who took, the opportunity. By the way, when I say that the Dems don't know how to behave, there's a lot of people on the right that don't know how to behave either. That is not an opportunity for you to double down on your divisiveness. You're angry and you're sad. Pay tribute to your fallen hero. But don't unless, that's, they're like, well, he was, he challenged people to argue with him. Lack of a better word, divisive rhetoric, that's, so maybe that's a tribute to him. Maybe just going, I don't know. But again, now is not the time for me to opine on that through stream of consciousness. But I will show you. Let's go to, okay, here we go. So I want to show you TMZ, their live stream yesterday. First, I'm going to show you when they find out that Charlie Kirk has been shot. Because this is fascinating. I got to tell you guys, for those of you who know what a news junkie I am, I didn't watch the full 6 hours of this live stream, but I did watch a lot of it. And I'm probably going to watch it from now on because it is my happy place. Not TMZ. I have always wanted to work in a newsroom like that. I mean, it is a depiction of how actual breaking news stories get covered. You see everything. You see the first reports. You see the news director barking out. You call the police. You call the hospital. It's so fascinating how these things happen in the moment. So from that level, man, I was super hard watching this thing. I was like, oh, God, I'm news junkie horny. So here, let me show you this. This is how they found out they were doing the live stream. They're in the TMZ offices. Let's go to, here we go. Okay, so this is right when they found out. All right. It's going to be hard to... All right, here we go. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this is what it is. It's 6 hours. It's not a show. You're just eavesdropping on people at work, and their work happens to be a very high-profile news gathering organization, and that's why it's fascinating. So here, let's watch this. This is the moment the TMZ newsroom received word that Charlie Kirk was shot, okay? And then we're gonna watch the clip from later on, like an hour and a half later, when it's revealed that he's passed away, and there is some cheering, and so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna listen to that. Here we go. All right, here we go. This is, look at Charlie. See what I mean? He's like 90, and he's seriously pulling off 45. It's amazing. I mean, you know he's 90. Watch when he moves. He moves like a 90-year-old. He moves like Biden or Trump. Let's be fair. He moves like an old man who can't move anymore. All right, here you go. This is them finding out that Charlie Kirk has been shot.
For a minute.
Ask Harvey how he's feeling. Probably like me.
Just like not bad, just weird and like sapped of energy. And I don't know what happened because I was fine this morning. I had a great workout, great swim. Courtney said what? Why? Oh.
Jesus.
Hey, they're not khakis.
I don't know why. And it was in all caps.
Okay,
too.
why don't you be quiet?
Oh.
She says it in
With
all caps?
all caps.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Okay.
Ugh, I would laugh if I had the energy. Let's just waste time. If they put so much time on people who are living in the street. Wait, hang on.
No, he's
that's-
he's reading an actual comment.
I know, but they're kind of trashing us for...
No, you didn't let me finish. They're not talking about you.
Right.
Was that a scam?
Yeah.
So sensitive.
I know, I am.
God. TMZ investigates the Epstein files. Oh yeah. That would sell. Harvey, do you feel grumpy or weak? Do you have a problem with sugar?
I queued it up to where it was, and it's obviously not where they find out, but this is the setting of where they find out. So just bear with me. We're going to fast forward through this.
Eat a lot of sugar. Crashed.
Are you low blood pressure?
Really good swim.
Blood.
Thing like that. Oh,
What?
Here you go. Okay, here it comes.
Siobhan.
What?
It's on video.
you're still sitting like that. Oh,
What?
who?
Is that out?
Wait, what happened?
Charlie.
So some guy just walked by and said, Charlie Kirk just got shot.
You're still sitting like that. Oh,
What?
who?
Is that out?
Wait, what happened?
Charlie.
Now just indulge me as a journalism dork. This is where it gets real exciting. Okay, so the editor, which is I guess the role that Harvey Levin would be playing, he's just found out the big story. So now let's go to the presses. Come out. Stop. What do they say? Stop the presses. Here we go. Watch this. This is how the story is done.
I mean, is this true?
Harvey and Charles,
what?
I found.
No.
What happened?
There he is, right there.
Wait a minute.
What
Is that
happened?
him speaking?
And he just got shot.
I love
Charlie Kirk?
Watch this. I mean, does this look like he gets shot?
Yes, it does.
Okay, come on. Let's.
Did Charlie Kirk
Yes.
get shot?
Start writing the story.
Mark's writing it.
Hey, Jamie, one paragraph up.
Wait, is it?
Where is this?
Does he
It's a
have?
huge round.
Do you see what I mean? How he's like, he moves like an old man. He moves like an old man, but he's got the beard of a 45-year-old.
We have not confirmed that we got.
Where was this rally?
We are trying.
Where
to
was
confirm
it?
this,
Utah.
but it's not confirmed.
Call the university right now. Can you call the police
And Orem
department?
police.
Find out what police. Karumi, and all you guys,
Orem
find out
police.
what police department handles this area.
He almost has security right there, sitting next to him. I watched.
Was this in Utah?
There, we'll show you that. That is how the story is first received by the newsroom there. But here, let me fast forward a little because there's the controversial moment, and I see Barney's already, Barney's already calling bullshit on the TMZ excuse for the controversial moment. But I need to remind Barney that I think you're the guy that was reporting people to the FBI for shit you read on Twitter, you fucking daisy. I'm sending you to the I'm telling. Pearl clutch, snowflake motherfucker. Buck up and ignore people, Barney. Barney's flooding the U. Maybe it was Byron. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was stoned last night. I'm like, my God, Barney, let's go to war with Barney. Come on, Barney. Anyway, don't fucking rat on people, you little bitch. I thought you were a First Amendment guy. Oh, you can't say that. FBI. So Barney's also calling bullshit on the excuse that TMZ is giving for the eruption of applause seconds before the announcement that Charlie Kirk has died. Now we're gonna talk about the excuse that TMZ gave. Barney's already on board. He's like, it's bullshit, because Barney doesn't want it to be an excuse. He wants to believe what Laura Loomer was putting out there because that makes him feel good. He said, it's better if I believe what I believe. All right. I don't know. We're going to break it down. We're going to let you people decide what you think is happening here. All right. So let's see. We got to fast forward here about an hour. They've just found out. Shit, no, we got to fast forward almost 2 hours. Okay, let's go to 4:17. That's where it says. Here we go. Okay, so what we're going to be listening for here, and I'll stop it, but there's an eruption of applause from the background. You don't see people applauding. You hear it. It's like it's happening in another room adjacent to the TMZ newsroom. So here we go.
In the first place, let's take a look at this.
4:30 to respond.
Okay, they're still covering it. So this blonde guy here is probably one of Harvey's, let's put him on camera. Harvey's really smart. This newsroom is filled with eye candy. I mean, there's a couple of dumpies because somebody's got to do the work, but there's a bunch of like just really pretty people walking around with headsets who jump on camera every once in a while when Harvey's, busy putting up a tweet or something. This guy's one of them. He's, I don't know what purpose he serves other than Harvey's like, that dude's hot. Let's put him on air. All right.
So it's only a one-way thing.
Hold on, let me see something.
Been shot in the. He's confirmed yet. We only know that he's in critical condition and he's been shot in the neck, and that initially there was an older man who was apprehended. I'm guessing they were suspicious of him, that he was the shooter, and that's why he was apprehended in the first place. Let's take a look at this.
All right, see, Harvey Levin is off doing something, learning something, and so he can't have dead air. So he's got just a cavalcade of hot people who, when he's busy, they just come on and do that. They say nothing, they offer nothing other than a recap of what we've just been watching. But, they look fuckable, so they get on camera. All right. By the way, I should tell you what they're doing right here, because I watched the whole thing. What they're doing right here is they are responding to Trump's tweet. Do you remember yesterday during the whole thing when Trump's tweet first came off and I go, oh, wait, we got breaking news. Hold on, breaking news. And then I stopped and I was like, hold on, I'm not going to say it yet because this is not. Unfortunately, I live in a world where what the president tweets is no longer necessarily the fact. So turned out it was. But TMZ is doing the same thing. TMZ said, oh, we've got major breaking news. And then they're like, oh, should we say it? And then Harvey Levin looks and he goes, let's just hold on. Let's not say anything yet. So that's what's going on right now. They're trying to confirm the tweet that President Trump put out yesterday saying that Charlie was dead. And by the way, credit where credit is due, even though I didn't trust it originally, it was correct. He was right. But, the guy, okay, in this instance, Trump was right. He had the information and he tweeted it immediately. But because of things that he's not been right about in the past, we can't take him as the first and only source the way we might have in the past when a president says something. So they're double checking Trump's work, basically. Hold on, let's fast.
A visual of the that is we're going to see an image of this guy.
Well, this is
possibly in the next 20 minutes. The news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock.
All right, I need you to be listening in the background. You hear the background. There is some noise in the background. It sounds like a group of people reacting to something at once.
Pacific for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go.
Here.
Go to.
Okay, mark that, right? So right now, the crowd in the other room is going, woo! So now watch what happens in a couple of seconds.
In Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
All right, so is this ready to pull the trigger when you get Trump cut in a second?
What did Trump say?
Yeah, who sent it?
So what did Trump say? Yeah, Trump just said he's dead.
His boyfriend's
he just said
him.
it. Okay.
All right. So we heard the crowd, right? So that's the clip that's going around all the wildest sites. The clip of them cheering, and then Harvey announcing a couple of minutes later that Trump said he's dead. But that was not the official declaration of death by TMZ. They waited. They're like, well, let's double check this. So that's what's happening now.
And my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife.
Like right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I want to give you the explanation. There is an explanation that is offered. So I want to give you the explanation because that looks bad, right? Everybody in the back, woo! And why does it look bad? Because it's TMZ and they're all Hollywood libtards and they obviously hate Charlie Kirk because that's how we're programmed to believe that every single person there has the exact same mindset and they all see the world and they all hate. do you really think that there are no like fucking Fox News fans that work in Hollywood that don't, especially in the offices? Do you really think that it's all blue-haired chicks with dicks working in Hollywood offices? I mean, this is a cross-section of people. Now, I don't know about the performers and the entertainers and the guys who are on camera, and I don't speak to them. But what we're hearing is the reaction of a bunch of office people in the background. So what was the explanation given by TMZ? Because it certainly looks bad. Your entire office erupts in applause seconds before you announce that the president has just said that Charlie Kirk is dead. Here comes the response. The excuse, I guess. The reason, the excuse, I guess it all depends on perspective, right? All right, here now this guy. Now it's hard to hear. Handsome Harvey's handsome eye candy is about to enter. And he is going to say, and it's hard to hear because I think Harvey talks over him here for a minute. But let's listen to what he says.
Can someone alert this, Abby or Liam? Or Rob, sorry. I know you're there.
I want to confirm.
Okay.
I want to confirm. He's talking about it right now. I want to confirm.
On the back
now get
the people in the back room cheering.
Statement and immediately.
We're not cheering about Charlie Kirk. There's a police chase.
Chase in Temple City right now, and that's what
Temple City right now, and that's what they were applauding for in the other room. Okay, did you get that? Now it's hard to hear, so I'll play it again. But he says, "I want to confirm that the people cheering in the other room were not cheering Charlie Kirk. It's a police chase happening in Temple City, California, right now." All right, let's listen to that one more time.
On the back
now, or Rob, sorry, I know you're there.
I want to confirm.
Okay,
people in the back
now get the Trump statement and immediately.
There's a police chase in Temple City right now, and that's what they were watching. Not Charlie Kirk related.
Trump
all right, not Charlie Kirk related is the official. And they got out there right away with it. This is only about 45 seconds after we heard the cheering. He came out because obviously people watching the live stream were like, "What was that cheering about?" You know, like that kind of thing. So they felt compelled to come out and maybe give a little more context to people who just want to run with whatever they want to believe, because they want to believe that everybody's a fucking monster in Hollywood. So he just said it's a Temple City police chase. Okay, so Barney says he doesn't believe that. Barney says he's calling bullshit on that. Well, I did the research. You know, I went and I did the research, and guess what I found out? Yes, there was in fact a major police chase going on in the streets of Los Angeles at that very moment. And it was also in Temple City. And how did I know to find this? Because, well, as I've told you a million times, I am Johnny Police Chase. I have alerts. I watch them. I put them on the big screen. I will watch a police chase for 3 hours. I love police chases. So I saw this police chase happening. I knew it was happening. I didn't put it all together like this until they told me. But the question is, what do you wish to believe? Do you wish to believe that everybody at TMZ is a fucking blood-sucking ghoul in the other room and they were cheering the slaughter, the horrible, tragic, and graphic slaughter of a 31-year-old? Is that what you want to believe? Or do you want to believe that there are more fucking stories being covered at TMZ from moment to moment than just the one that you're focused on? Is it, for me, as somebody who understands how the sausage is made, is it hard for me to believe that there is another room of people who are absolutely following the police chase? Because let me tell you, TMZ does a lot of police chase stuff. Yes. And guess what? When you actually do the numbers and you read the story and you watch the police chase and you adjust for mountain time versus West Coast time or Pacific time, you find out that it was happening at the exact same moment. So a group of people, by the way, let me just tell you about this. Have you ever put a police chase on when there's a group of people gathered? Everybody does what we just heard. Everybody gathers around the TV. Everything stops. We're going to watch the police chase. And when something big happens, when he sideswipes a car or when a cop does a pit maneuver, I imagine the crowd of people are watching this like they're watching a fucking football game. And it's, yeah. So for me, it's very easily believable that what they said at TMZ was true. It's unfortunately, it looks bad. I mean, certainly because for the people who want to believe, like I said, that everybody there is a monster, for those people, this is out of context. because it's all out of context. The shit that's being passed around is just like a 30-second clip of people applauding and then them announcing that Trump. It doesn't include, the, hey, by the way, we just want you to know that cheering was for a Temple City car chase that's happening right now. I find that believable. I'm not carrying water for them. I'm not saying that that's absolutely the same. I'm just saying that as far as excuses go, it checks out. It does. They were happening at the exact same time.
Figueroa right now. Was the California Highway Patrol. This started in the East Los Angeles area over by Eastern, and it was heading westbound on the 10 freeway. Once it got closer to here, it got onto the 101 and then down on the 110 freeway, like I said, in the University Park area.
Okay, so
this
timing
guy,
it up.
So much so, California Highway Patrol, a lot of times we would see them back off because of the erratic speeds, and you can clearly know that this is going to start getting emotional because you saw that other vehicle get.
I know there was a pit
definitely in trail of that one CHP cruiser.
Right, so anyway,
and I'm not sure if he's getting some information
about. I don't waste more time on this because I really want to get into the conspiracy theories, but that is very easily believable. That there was another group of people working on all the other stories that TMZ had up yesterday that were watching a police chase that was happening in the streets around where they live. That's totally believable. What isn't believable is that many people were gathered around one person's laptop when Trump tweeted that, because that's what you have to believe. You have to believe that group reaction was instantaneous. They were all watching the same thing at the same time. So what do you think? Everybody looked at their phone at the same time and went, woo? Or were they probably watching a big screen TV where there was an exciting police chase happening? That's the one that I think is more likely. What you would hear is people muttering, like one person would look at it first and then a split second later, somebody else would go, oh my God, you see this? I see it too. And then it would move that way. Everybody is not looking at their phone at the same time. However, if there's a police chase on a big screen TV, I easily imagine there's a group of people in that break room or whatever that is watching that. So whether you choose to believe that TMZ was championing and happy that he was pronounced dead and would do that. By the way, what level of fucking amateurs do you think that they are that they don't know that this is being streamed? Like, they know it's being streamed. You don't think they know. So that reaction was just, again, I think, and this is what I choose to believe, I think it was poorly timed. I think it was just unfortunate that it happened 30 seconds before they went with the Trump tweet. Again, that wasn't the official confirmation. The official confirmation came minutes later, and there were no applause for that. But those applause do line up with the same time that there was a very exciting police chase happening, covered live on local Los Angeles TV. Okay, so there you go. You choose to believe whatever you want. None of us are going to know for sure. None of us, unless we have a cousin who works in the TMZ newsroom who can say, no, man, I was there. None of us are going to know for sure. This is all about who we are and how we choose to see the world. If you want to think the worst, then that is something that could feed that bias. I'm not interested in thinking the worst. And if there's a reasonable explanation for why that happened, I'm going to go with that. All right, let's get into Barney. Barney says, unless at that exact second the driver jumped out nude and started swinging a foot long, I'm not believing the woohoo. Yes, because Barney, you're radicalized, dude. I love you and you're fun and you're one of my radicalized friends on the right. But I can't expect you to think anything other than what you want to believe. Confirmation bias is basically your deal here. That's what you want. You have a bias. And because of the context of how that was presented to you, your bias has been confirmed. I'm simply just adding context. I'm simply telling you and showing you that there was actually a street car chase going on. And my God, I get it because I'm a big Los Angeles freeway police chase guy. Remember, I know all the rules. I've told you. If you can maintain the police chase long enough, to get to when the sun is going down, if you can just get to the Hollywood Hills, they're going to give up the chase. Want to know why? Because the helicopters can't go into the fucking mountains there. It's too dangerous after dark. So that's one good way. It's one good way to evade the helicopters and get away with a police chase. I've seen it done, which is interesting because, you know, that's not the case everywhere. Like you watch a police chase in Arizona, you're fucking cooked because there is nowhere for you to go. Arizona has a lot of police chases too. But in California, you just head for the valley or you head for the mountains. And if you're at the right time of day, the helicopters are going to have to quit because they don't go in there when it's dark. The other thing is the overpasses. That's the one that I love. We see this most commonly. This is like a gangbanger trick. The gangbangers will steal their car and lead police on a crazy, you know, chase for hours. And then at some point, because the police will stop chasing because it's so dangerous, they'll stop chasing. That's when the carjackers will park the stolen car under one of them overpasses. And then they'll just get out and walk away because the helicopter can't see them. I'm telling you, they figured out ways to do it. I am a big fan of the police chase. And I tend to believe that there are people in the newsroom there at TMZ that are also big fans of the police chase. All right. Yeah, I don't think. Come on, Barney. Don't you have some people who you can be reporting to the FBI because you're a First Amendment guy? It's all right. All right. I tease Barney because he's one of my faves. All right, let's keep going. What else do we have? Let's do the conspiracy theory. All right, save this for last. The best part for last. Of course, we got a conspiracy theory. Look. You know how much money there is to be made on the next conspiracy theory. Right now, there are not novelists, but writers going. I know what my next book is. The Charlie Kirk murder conspiracy theory. We need a new one. We keep going back to the Kennedy one and the fucking did we land on the moon? And we keep going back to the same. 9/11 is boring. Let's not do 9/11 today, please. So we need a new one. We need a new good one. The one that I thought was going to take off was the Trump staged his own assassination. I thought that would take off, and it didn't. You know what it is? Because those libtards, there's not enough of them that are like willing to go into a whole QAnon thing because they got their own weird version of QAnon. I don't know what it is. Probably some sex dungeon they're a member. I don't know what it is, but they've got their own thing. Hold on, I just got a message. I need to be what the fuck? Oh, all right, never mind. I'm getting weird. I just got a weird political text that I thought. My kid's got a game today, and I think that the time might be shifting, or I might have the wrong time. So I'm trying to keep up with people telling me when the game is. All right, where was I? Conspiracy theories. I don't believe this, but I'm gonna throw it out there for you. Let's talk about the conspiracy theory that. I read a lot about this today. I'm like, no way. And then I'm like, wait, what? It's like one of those things. A good conspiracy theory will do that to you. All right, here you go. Trump had Charlie Kirk killed. Oh, Trump had him killed. All right, so now let's apply the rules of journalism. Who, what, when, where, why, who? Charlie Kirk and Trump. That's who. Trump had Charlie Kirk. What? Trump had Charlie Kirk killed. When? Yesterday. Where? Utah, at a speaking engagement that everybody knew Charlie Kirk was going to be at. And why? All right, let's do why. Because he's desperate. He is Trump desperate. This, by the way, I'm enacting the personality of someone who believes this conspiracy theory. All right, who, what, when, where, why? Why? Because the Epstein story will not go away, and he's desperate for a narrative change, and he knows that an assassination of this level will clear the decks for at least the next couple of weeks, and then they can hope that the Epstein thing goes away. Why Charlie Kirk? Well, Trump and the Trump people, MAGA in general, especially the ones at the highest level, they've been fucking pissed at him for a while. Charlie Kirk has broken from MAGA over the past couple of months on multiple issues, not the least of which were, one, the bombing of Iran. Don't you remember when Trump went in and bombed Iran? Charlie Kirk broke from MAGA. Charlie Kirk was like, this is not what I voted for. This is not, MAGA is fault. That was his whole rhetoric. Okay. Then what was the other one? There was the Epstein files. He was like, Mr. This is not acceptable with the Epstein files. He was Mr. Epstein files or bust. Then, like weirdly, a month later, Charlie Kirk made another video where he said, very humbled, I've decided that whatever this administration wants to do with the Epstein files, I trust them and I trust. He totally changed course from we must have the answers on Epstein, which was something that he followed up I can't believe MAGA has betrayed us by bombing Iran. So he had those two very big high profile things where he broke from the administration. And then suddenly he changes his tune. Conspiracy theorists are suggesting, and I'm like, yeah, that is weird that he changed his tune to that degree. Somebody got to him. Somebody said, hey, look, fucking kid, you exist because we allow you to exist. Yes, you motivating and rallying these young people certainly helped get us elected, but guess what? I'm now fucking elected. So you better mind your P's and Q's, kid, and get on board or get got. That's the conspiracy theory. It's a good one. Look, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but it's a good one. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Because then you go through and you see all these videos of, oh my God, Charlie Kirk is breaking bad on Trump. So recently, Charlie Kirk has broken bad on Trump. And then he followed that up over the summer, a couple of months back, with a very humble, I'm now going to trust everything they do. He was brought to heel in the eyes of a lot of people. And now he's dead. The Epstein, they needed a sacrifice. They needed a major story in America that would do one of two things: get people to stop talking about how there's no new information about Epstein and Trump's involvement with Epstein. And two, how do we get everybody back at each other's throats? Conspiracy theory is that Trump had Kirk killed, sacrificed. He was no longer of use to him. And quite frankly, Charlie Kirk was getting a little bit too popular. And I think that there are people in the MAGA administration that felt a little threatened by him and worried about what he could do in the next couple of years. Could he be controlled? He did his duty. He got him elected. He did. He had a huge part in that. The young man vote was big for Trump. And that was all Charlie Kirk. Joe Rogan. But you know what I mean? Charlie Kirk. He's no longer useful. And he was getting a little bit, now he's publicly breaking from us on Iran, and he's not falling in line. The weird thing is that he was brought to heel. And that is where the conspiracy theorists is like, they gave him a warning. They said, you know what? You're on our shit list right now, and you better watch your P's and Q's, kid. So he was brought to heel. I humbly, he didn't say that, but he was like, look, I'm now going to just trust what these, like Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, he's now, Don Bongino, he's now going to trust. After a decade of him, we need to know, or 5 years, whatever it's been since Epstein, we need the answers, blah, blah, blah. And even when, Trump was involved, he was still, we need the answer. And then suddenly he's like, nah, it's cool, I trust him. The conspiracy theory says he was brought to heel and given a warning. But regardless, we now have a new set of circumstances where since then, since he got that warning, since he was put on notice, this Epstein fucking thing will not go away. And just yesterday, there's that whole thing about the birthday card again, where now it's back on the front page, the birthday card. And now Congress is reopening investigations, and we are going to hear more testimony from victims. So how do we stop people from being obsessed with this? All right, let's kill somebody very high profile. And let's kill somebody that would totally not look like somebody we would have killed. Let's kill one. No, who's nobody? What? National Medal of Honor. Well, of course he couldn't have killed Charlie Kirk. He's giving him the President Medal of Honor. I've seen Game of Thrones. I know what's happening here. Now, all of that is conspiracy. You knew that there would be a conspiracy theory. So that's basically this conspiracy theory that's going around. Well, let me show you something. Let me show you something that just makes this whole thing so fucking weird. Have you seen this? Charlie Kirk Charlie Kirk speaking yesterday. Seconds, blinks of an eye before he is dead. He got two dudes behind him that look like they're coaching third base. He's got two dudes who look like, I don't know, if you were to put it in my head that they're special ops, I'd be like, yeah, they do kind of look like that. They look like special ops trying to fit in. And they're standing right before him, or right behind him, a second before he gets killed. And both of these guys are so plainly doing signals. Like I said, they look like a third base coach. There's one guy goes like this, another guy taps his hat. So we're going to watch this. And this is something that is really fueling the conspiracy. People are like, what the fuck were those guys doing? All right, let's watch this. These are two guys standing behind Charlie Kirk. What do they call them? Deep state operators for MAGA who were sent here to coordinate the assassination of Charlie Kirk in order to get Epstein and the Epstein files and Trump's involvement off the front page. Give the idiots something new to talk about. Now, you may not think that this is something that Trump, I mean, I don't know about trying to just Trump this dark. I don't know if he's this dark, but Stephen fucking Miller is. Steve Bannon is. This is the kind of shit that those guys, this is their world. All right, so let's watch these guys. This is the video from it's this guy in the white hat. And then there's another, it's this guy here in the black. The guy in the black who you can barely see. All right, I'm going the length of him right here. The guy in the black with the sunglasses is the one who definitely seems to give the signal to pull the trigger. Because the minute that guy goes like this, or something like the minute this guy goes like this, something like that, boom, the bullet gets shot. And that follows the guy in white doing a couple of things that are fucking not natural. Like if it was just a guy going like this, he scratched his chin for a sec. No, this is way more deliberate than that. There's something going on here, and it's why people really think there's a conspiracy theory. Here we go. Let's watch.
Do you know how many
There's the hat.
mass shooters there are?
Little nudge of the hat. He didn't even adjust it. All he did was he flickered it. He moved his hat. He grabbed it and went, doo-doo-doo-doo. That's not an adjustment. You grab the hat to adjust it, to put it on your head tighter. Let's watch what he does again. Look at it right there.
Mass shooters
all he does is
there have been in America
now he's on his nose,
over the last
down his side. All right, now let's watch the guy in the black.
10 years. Counting or not
Okay, arm out.
counting gang
Touch the arm.
violence. Great. Do you know how
Did you hear the shot? As soon as he touched his arm and went like this, he goes like that. As soon as he does that, click, you hear the shot. Let's watch it again. Just like the TMZ thinks. See, I don't know what Barney's thinking now, but this is something that he doesn't want to believe. So Barney's probably like, no, that's just random activity. But with the TMZ thing, they're absolutely Jared. See, it's confirmation bias. That's why this conspiracy theory is so much fun. Let's watch it again.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
And there's the shot. You hear the shot, you hear the click. That's the shot. The click is the shot. As soon as this dude touches his arm and goes down on it, you hear the shot. That looks out of context. Again, don't you love this? This is a 7-second clip. I would love to see a larger clip, but because this is all we're being given, we've got 7 seconds of content to basically form an opinion that we're going to spout at bars for the next couple of years, right? So we are. We're fucking morons. Here we go. One more time, though. Pretty damning.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting?
All right. He's about to touch his. As soon as he does that and moves his arm, his hand, he touches and then goes like this. That's where you hear the click.
Counting gang violence.
Great. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
All right, so there you have it. That's the conspiracy theory. Woo, you morons gonna have fun with that one because that's some, they present it. Me personally, well, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I don't know what's going on there. I don't think, There are a lot of moving parts to this conspiracy. There's a lot of things you got to believe, first and foremost. Like, one, you got to believe that Trump is that dark, and I don't believe he's that dark. However, I do believe that the people he surrounds himself are capable of that level of darkness. So I don't know. And then you put all the Charlie Kirk stuff, him breaking bad from him no longer being of use because he's not going to run again, and his closeness with J.D. Vance, and the fact that they don't seem to really like J.D. Vance all that much. Is Charlie Kirk going to run as J.D. Vance's VP in 4 years? You know, I mean, what was going on? I don't know. And in that video, and we see that video. All right, Barney, what's Barney saying? Does Barney have any kind of opinion on that conspiracy video? He says, okay, now I'll be the voice of reason. Those are producers. Producers? What are you talking about? You talking about Barney, please, before I go nuts? Are you talking about the dudes standing behind them? If anything, they're security. Producers, I've been a professional producer for years. First of all, we wear headsets and have walkie-talkies. We don't communicate with people via baseball hand signs. Unless you're just saying that those weren't hand signs, that it's just a coincidence. That's an argument that I have to go, yeah, that's reasonable. That's probably, it could be true. Absolutely. Don't tell me they're producers. Producer, look at it. Let's go back and look at these guys. No, I don't want to pull the window up. Both of those guys are buff. Both of those guys are, producers are not buff. I'm sorry, they're not. They're usually fat guys who spend a lot of time in a chair watching endless video and working in editing bays, eating fucking fast food. That is what a producer is. Or it's a hot chick who's, you know, those guys did not look like producer nerds. They look like security. They look like security. They look like maybe their eyes were out there on the crowd. Secret Service type things. He's got his own private security. My question is this: who provides the private security that Charlie Kirk pays for? Does that come from friends inside MAGA? Are those private security people that, you know, Charlie Kirk employs for so long? Whose loyalty are they pledged to, really? And if they are dark operators, as I imagine that would be a thing that someone like Charlie Kirk would be very proud of. Yeah, this is my security. They're all dark. The things they've done, man, you don't want to know. Like, I imagine that would be something that he would say to people. So if that is the case, then you have to ask the question, like, where would their loyalty be? To actually protect their subject, or is it to the greater cause and whoever it is that's employing them or owns their security firm or funds their security paychecks, whatever? There's a lot going on. But those guys are not producers. All right, I don't care if they're putting that up. These guys they're not producers. What? Okay, if they're producers, then we're going to eliminate the hand thing because we're going to say that was just a coincidence, that both of those guys had itches or whatever. Okay. Then if you want to tell me that they're producers and those hand signals had nothing to do, but if you're trying to make me believe that producers use hand signals like that, you're fucking nuts, okay? And you don't know anything about the business. Walkie-talkies and headsets. Producers are fucking constantly on headsets, and they don't stand in one place. You know why? Because producers have to move. They have to move around and make sure that all of the things that they are in charge of producing are going on. They were security. They were spotters or something else. That's just my take. Al says they pulled the South Park episode because of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, they did. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are fucking smart. Another example of how you play the goddamn game. You get out in front of it. You recognize that it's not a great moment for you to be like reminding folks that you torched this person just a couple of weeks ago. So you pull it off the streaming service. You don't let anybody watch that now, and then you put it back in a couple months or whatever. It'll be back. It's not, they're not pulling it forever. They're not killing it. But the people at South Park, and more importantly, probably Paramount, who just paid them billions of dollars, they understand that now is not the time. What I've been saying all day, Dems, now is not the time. Pull the fucking Charlie Kirk South Park episode. Be decent. Don't just follow your ego that says, fuck those people. This is how I want it to be. Be fucking decent. Every fucking governor should be. Look at the president saying we're lowering flags to half-mast, and every governor should follow. Because to not follow means that you're saying fuck you to a whole bunch of people in your state who you don't consider just citizens who didn't vote for you. You consider them the fucking enemy. And that's wrong. You're a piece of shit governor if that's how you look at people who are upset in your state about the passing of Charlie Kirk. You were elected by a specific group, but you are there to serve everybody. Now, I know that is certainly not how the other side sees it. I mean, there are a lot of... Trump himself is like, it's a war against the people who vote. So fuck, just because other people are doing it wrong doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive in every instance to do it fucking right. Lower the flags. Keep your mouth shut and just allow the people who are mourning to mourn. Thank you. That's all I got on this. That's all I got. All right, what else do we want to do here? Oh shit, it's getting late, man. It is getting late. I gotta be at a game. My kid's got a game tonight, so I gotta be up. I gotta be up at. I gotta be way up. I gotta be far. I gotta be far at 6 o'clock. So I gotta get out in front of it. All right, let me see. Is there anything? Hey, Flo is dead. There you go, Flo. Mel, kiss my grants. Flo. Her name was Polly Holiday. She's from Alice, the TV show Alice. Tell you something that's very good. Look, I like Flo. Who didn't like Flo? Everybody liked Flo. Flo was funny. Flo was like the take no bullshit waitress. Everybody's always hitting on her, and she's like, kiss my grants. Like she had that catchphrase, kiss my grants. Like everybody's saying it. I'm like 8 years old running around, kiss my grants. Let's bring that back. Let's bring back kiss my grants. I'm going to start saying kiss my grits in honor of the late Polly Holiday who played Flo. Here's a thing, though. I never understood about Flo. And like I said, when I was watching Alice, I was probably 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You know, like that. I was 8, 9. I was a little kid. At like 8 or 9 years old, me watching Alice on CBS, and I see Flo, and I see every man at Mel's Diner like, hey, Flo, I'd like to get with that. And everybody's like, Flo's so hot. I'm like 9 years old going, no, Flo is not hot. I don't understand this. First of all, can we be honest? None of them waitresses at Mel's Diner were hot. There wasn't. When you're looking at Vera, who's basically retarded, and you're like, she's the hottest one. Not a show. So I don't understand. I didn't understand the positioning of Flo as the super hot one. And as I got older, here's what I realized. I went, this is a diner in the middle of the fucking desert. It's nothing but truckers who are just passing through. First of all, not a lot of local talent to draw from. So, you know, when you've got a pool of middle-aged single moms as your waitress crew, I guess maybe Flo is the hot one. But I imagine it's only because Flo was a slut, right? Wasn't that the suggestion that Flo got around, whereas Vera wasn't? That was kind of a... Anyway, Polly Holiday's dead. Oh, yeah, I could do a breakdown on Alice for an hour. Wasn't one of my favorite, I'll be honest with you, wasn't one of my favorites. It was just a show that was on, and I had to watch it because, you know, I didn't have YouTube. I had 2 other channels. And so Alice was probably on between other things that I like. So, all right. I'll tell you what, when I saw the movie, that the TV show, do people even know this? I don't know if people know this. So the sitcom Alice on CBS, taking place at Mel's Diner. The sitcom Alice which was, by the way, it was a stupid sitcom. It was dumb. It was 1970s lowest common denominator humor. They weren't doing any messaging in their story. It was just dumb. It was a dumb show to kill time on a Tuesday night for a half hour in between MASH and whatever, Lou Grant, whatever, I don't know. Lou Grant was a show I watched. I love Lou Grant. Lost my point. Oh yeah, the movie. Okay, so did you know that stupid sitcom was actually a spinoff of an Academy Award winning film that was real serious? The film, I think it's like a Scorsese film or something. Some great director made a film called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Starred Chris Christopherson and I want to say Sally Kirkland. A bunch of people won Oscars. It was like a major film. I wasn't aware of it because it had some pretty serious grown-up themes to it, and it came out in 1974 when I was 4 or 5. But I didn't know the sitcom, so I watched the sitcom, and then like a little bit later in life, I went back and I watched the classic Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is all they did was took a movie that was really well received and critically acclaimed and had serious pop culture sort of power. People recognize it was a name brand, if you will. Alice Doesn't Live Anymore. And they just turned it into a stupid CBS sitcom that has nothing to do with the movie, other than the main character is Alice, who's suddenly a single mom who goes to work as a waitress at a place called Mel's Diner in Arizona. That was the only common thread. It was, other than that, it was just stupid. It'd be like if they took Pulp Fiction and they're like, yeah, we're gonna make a TV series called Pulp Fiction. And then it's just really fucking stupid. Then it's like Happily Ever After or one of those bad CW sitcoms from the mid 2000s. Right? It's like, wait, the movie was great. Anyway, Polly Holiday is dead. She played Flo. She wasn't hot. They told us she was. It confused me as a kid. I'm like, is that what's supposed to be hot? Am I like the gay version of a straight dude who can't tell what's hot and what's not? Because if you're telling me Flo is hot, I'm 9 years old. I'm voting not. Flo's dead. Let's see. What else do we have here? All right, we're not going to get into the Philly Karen story. We're not going to get into the UFO story. We're not going to get into any of that stuff. So I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave you with what I am so excited about, you guys. So excited. Actually, I'm not going to leave you with this. This is just the last real story we're going to do. Hold on. I'm going to do something here. So last night I get back from Bottle Rockets. Thank you to everybody who showed up to Bottle Rockets in Legacy Village for Tuesday night trash trivia. It was awesome. I can't wait to grow this thing. This place is going to be great. Tuesday night at the Back Nine, a favorite spot of mine. And then following up on Wednesday up in the Plano, Frisco area, Legacy Village, Bottle Rockets. So after I get home from Bottle Rockets last night, of course, it's all crazy Charlie Kirk stuff. So I'm not watching TV. I'm online and I'm looking at stories and I'm getting caught up because since like 6 o'clock, I've been at Bottle Rockets playing trivia. And quite frankly, the mood of the nation was kind of somber yesterday. And we were trying to change that. So there wasn't a whole lot of Charlie Kirk stuff at Bottle Rockets trivia. Trying to be happy, trying to have fun. But I got home and I found myself, immersed in the internet for a good 2 hours. So now it's midnight. Usually I go to bed, but I'm all like, cranked up because of the news that I watched. The conspiracy theory. It's hard to go to sleep after you stumble across that conspiracy theory that I just shared with you. I'm like, man, my mind is going now. So I decided I needed a little something to put on while I got in bed and fell asleep. And I jump on over to Netflix and I see, holy shit, I totally forgot. God damn it. Why did Charlie Kirk have to die today? I should have come straight home from trivia and jumped right into the brand new Netflix documentary about Charlie Sheen. Oh. All right, let me give you a quick review. Now, I can't give you a full review, but honestly, it doesn't matter. I've only seen the first half. It is a 2-part documentary series on Netflix about the life of Charlie Sheen. The first episode is an hour and a half. I believe the second episode is an hour and a half. So the first episode is a full movie. And remember, I discovered this at midnight that it was on. Oh, and I'm like, shit. If I start watching this, I'm going to be up until 1:30. I'm going to be up until 3 because I'm probably going to roll into episode 2 because I just want to see it. I didn't do that. I was smart enough. I watched the first episode. The first episode of the Charlie Sheen documentary is one of the best things I've seen in a very long time. Let me just state, and I don't think I've ever said this before. I don't think I've ever had reason to say this before. Let me just say, I, Pugs Moran, fucking love Charlie Sheen. I just love him. What a dude. Serious fuck up. I mean, don't get me wrong, but he hurts nobody. I mean, he just hurts his own reputation and shit. Charlie Sheen is such a good dude. He's just such a he's a fuck up. He's the incorrigible guy who you trust and he destroys that trust, but then he comes back around and he really convinces you. It's like a drug. Well, he's a drug. I guess if anybody's had a drug addict in their life, they know this experience. But he's the most charming and the most fun drug addict you've ever been around. Charlie Sheen's pretty amazing. He's pretty amazing. And I watched the first half, the first hour and a half. And don't think, see, here's maybe some of you youngsters, because I think some of you youngsters might only know Charlie Sheen from, what was it? Not Big Bang, the 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men. I never watched that. Anyway, 2.5 Men was his show. It was a big show, one of the most popular and successful television series of this century so far. And then he had to leave that show because he went a little nuts. He went a little nuts around 2009, 2010. Coined the phrase winning. Remember that, when everybody was like winning? Now he went nuts. He was on crack. He lost his show. He's the highest paid man in TV. And they're like, yeah, you're fired. Get the fuck out of here. So I think a lot of people, when they think of Charlie Sheen, that's what they go back to. That couple of year period where he was banging porn stars, doing, 10 grand in coke a day. And they're not really getting arrested. Did Charlie get arrested? I don't know. Anyway, if that's what you think, then you might think that like the first episode, the first hour and a half is just, that the good stuff probably comes in the second episode, right? Wrong. Charlie Sheen has been an incorrigible fuck up since he's 17 years old. And the stories that he tells and the stories that are confirmed by all of the people in his life that they talk to, and they talk to everybody. Everybody, interestingly enough, except for Emilio Estevez and Martin Sheen, his father. His older brother and his father refused to participate in this documentary, not because there's beef and not because they don't love him. They're all very close. And you get that from this documentary. That Sheen clan, they fucking love each other and they got each other's back. But Martin and Emilio did not want to participate because they've been through this peaks and valleys with Charlie before. This was the excuse that was given. They've been through this. They've been through him being the disgusting drug addict that they break their heart trying to fix. And then they've been there when he fixes himself and he's on the I'm Charlie Sheen and I'm better tour, and everybody's like, let's give him another job. And then, of course, he rises to a height again, and then he falls one more time. Like, his brother and dad are like, yeah, we've been there. We're just going to let Charlie be Charlie. We're very proud of him. We're glad that he's been sober for now 7 years, but we're not going to participate in this little documentary. But that's okay, because everybody else does. His best friends. Charlie Sheen, you have to understand, he grew up in a very interesting way, and it's documented thoroughly in the first 90-minute episode. He grew up, of course, the son of Martin Sheen. He grew up in Malibu, California, in the 1960s and 1970s, for the most part, right? He was born in the early 60s. And I think that, I know that I did. I had a different impression of Charlie Sheen and his life growing up. I assumed, I knew he grew up in Hollywood or wherever. And but I knew that a bunch of his friends growing up all also went on to become big major movie stars. But I assumed the son of Martin Sheen, they didn't grow up rich. Martin Sheen was not like a superstar actor. He was a gigging actor for most of his life until he got Apocalypse Now. And that's when everything changed. After Apocalypse Now, they say, well, there were two lives to Charlie growing up. There was before Apocalypse Now, and then there was after Apocalypse Now, when his dad suddenly became Martin Sheen, iconic Hollywood star. But the life before, they lived in Malibu, which you're probably like, oh, Malibu, how can they? Well, what I didn't understand, and I saw a whole bunch of video, they show video or film, because the Sheen family, they were early adopters to 8mm films, and they filmed everything, and so you see everything. They lived in a normal house. Their next door neighbor was a fireman. They lived in Malibu at a time before Malibu was developed the way it is now. Now, they probably lived in a ranch house, which they probably sold in 1980 for like 1 million times more than what because obviously the area began to become developed. But back in the 60s, Malibu was a beach town. It hadn't been taken over by Hollywood and big money and all of that. And that's where he grew up. Basically just a working class suburb that was near the beach. That again, and that would change after Apocalypse Now. After Apocalypse Now, and suddenly there's big money and all that stuff. Anyway, the video is amazing. You see home movies, like movies, scripted movies, like all the kids in the neighborhood would get together and they would make fun little movies. I don't know if you ever did that. I had a kid in my neighborhood that did that. I'd love to see some videos from when I was 5. I'm sure I'm in some movies when I was 5, 6, 7, 8. But you see these. Charlie Sheen shows all of these movies that he and his brothers made. And you're looking at it and you're like, okay, that's Charlie Sheen. That's a big star. And that other guy here, that's Emilio Estevez. That's another big star. That's his brother. Who the fuck is that? Oh my God, that's young Sean Penn. Oh my God, that's a not famous yet 12-year-old Sean Penn. Who's that? Rob Lowe? What the fuck is Rob Lowe doing in this? All of their friends became mess. It's so interesting. I got no friends. I got no friends from that. Look, this is where I turn my attention to Kevin Barber. Kevin, why aren't you more famous? Why can't I got no friends? Kevin doesn't have any friends, but Kevin and I grew up together. KB artist in the chat room. None of us went on to do it. We got no friends. Meanwhile, I'm looking at these videos or films from like 1978 depicting Charlie. Oh, the weird one was, I'm like, okay, there's Charlie Sheen, there's Emilio. Sean Penn. Look at Sean Penn doing a little acting. Who the fuck is that? Who's that? George fucking Clooney? How the hell is a 20-year-old George Clooney? Yeah, because George Clooney moved from Kentucky and moved into his, what was his aunt, Rosemary Clooney? Moved into his aunt Rosemary Clooney's guest house at 20 and apparently started hanging out with, Emilio Estevez and Sean Penn right away. So here now we're looking at movies of like 18, 17, 16-year-old Charlie Sheen, 19-year-old Emilio, 20-year-old George Clooney. It's fascinating. Secret sauce, right? I mean, there's some secret sauce there that all those people went on to be big stars. Now, I'm sure that the ones with the last name of Sheen meant something. The ones with the last name of Clooney, probably those were power names in Hollywood, so probably helped. Oh, and you know what else? When I think about it, Sean Penn. Sean Penn, his father was Arthur Penn, the writer. So, all right, so there's some stuff. Anyway, you'll really enjoy it. Charlie Sheen is so fucking charming, and he doesn't hold anything back. I've only seen the first hour and a half. Takes us through the rise of Charlie Sheen. Listen, let me tell you how Charlie Sheen became a movie star. Are you ready for this? Here's how Charlie Sheen became a movie star. He was a really good baseball player, a really good athlete, and I guess he got injured or something, and so he stopped playing. So, he quit school. He just dropped out of high school. He's like, well, if I can't play baseball this season, I'm done. I am not showing up for math. So he dropped out of high school at like 17. and his dad, Martin Sheen, was like, you fuck it, whatever, dude. You do whatever you want, but you're getting a fucking job. You are getting a job. You are starting your life and your career right now. Getting a job. And Charlie Sheen answered that to his father, Martin Sheen, by saying, look, really good things are happening for Emilio. Emilio was his big brother. Emilio at this time was not famous, but Emilio was in a couple of movies and shit was starting to go kind of well for Emilio Estevez. And so Charlie drops out of high school and goes to his dad and says, look, things are going really well for Emilio. Why don't you just give me the summer? I mean, I know I've never acted or anything and I've never shown any interest in being an actor, but why don't you just give me the summer and let me go on some auditions and let's see what happens? And of course, he gets Platoon and Wall Street, and all of a sudden, Charlie Sheen is a movie star. And boy, did he party. Anyway, you cannot go wrong. I cannot wait going tonight. After my son's football game, I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch the second half. The second half is probably going to depict all of the stuff with porn stars. The first half kind of stopped around 2000. He hadn't yet gone into TV. So we're going to get all the tiger blood and winning and, porn stars and all that stuff in episode 2. And I can't wait. But episode 1 was amazing. It's so interesting. He makes no excuses. He makes no excuses. People are like, you did this thing and it was terrible. And he just smiles at them, smiles at the camera and goes, yeah, I'm sorry. I was kind of an asshole. And then he smiles and you look at him and you're like, God, this guy's great. Whatever. He's great. Tell you somebody who doesn't like him. I'll tell you somebody who's obviously got a very complicated relationship with Charlie Sheen, who also appears in this series a lot. and that's John Cryer. John Cryer probably has a very authentic and sincere reason for not wanting to get caught up in the whole Charlie Sheen thing. Yet he agreed to participate in the video, in the documentary. And in the very first scene, the very first opening, it's John Cryer, and he's like, I would really rather not do this. Talking about Charlie Sheen is not something that I like to do, but let's see how this goes. And then you hear from John Cryer, who is obviously very hurt by Charlie Sheen and still is not ready to go, oh, isn't he charming? Like John Cryer keeps saying throughout this episode that, well, that's kind of the thing with John, with Charlie. He has some really great thing happen, and then I don't think he believes he's deserving of this great thing. So he torches everything around him, and everybody that's near him goes down with him. And then after a little while, he comes back and expects everyone to forgive him. Woo, that's pretty cold. That is John Cryer's take on his. Of 8 years. They were partners for 8 years on Men something. What was it? Two and a half men? John Cryer and Charlie Sheen. It wasn't just Charlie Sheen's show. It was John Cryer and Charlie Sheen's show. They were co-stars of that show. And when Charlie Sheen went fucking nuts and the whole show took hits and everybody lost money, and then eventually it was ended because nobody really wanted Ashton Kutcher in the role that Charlie Sheen had originated. Yeah, that probably fucked John Cryer. He's probably like, you know what? We could have kept this fucking thing going for another 5 years. I was the highest paid person in TV. Then you were the highest paid person in TV. And then we're both the highest paid person in TV. And now the show is on the rocks because you're running around going Tiger Blood and winning. John Cryer's got real beef. And I thought it was cool that he showed up to openly talk about his beef. It's the Charlie Sheen documentary. You can't miss it. It's on Netflix. They're pushing it hard. And if you're of the era, right? I don't know if my 16-year-old kid would enjoy this. But if you're of the era, if you're like my age or younger, or somebody who at least remembers when he kind of went off the rails about 15 years ago, you'll really enjoy it. Highest recommendation of a documentary series that I can offer. Charlie Sheen, it is so much fun and just crazy. Crazy that he is such an obvious asshole and doesn't care about anybody else. It's crazy that despite all of that, you're like, get over here, Charlie. Get out, you knucklehead. All right. Is there anything else? Yeah, I think that's going to be it. All right, here's what we're going to do. I started out the show talking about how despite the horrible, horrible events of yesterday, people are mourning what happened there with Charlie Kirk. It is 9/11. It is October, Jesus. It is September 11th. 24 years ago today, those of us who were, old enough and understood what was happening, it was certainly a day that I would never forget. It is the single most important day in the history of my life. That day on September 11th, never felt that way again. Hopefully never will. Had never felt that way before. I can remember. This was the weirdest thing about that day. My partner Kelly and I, we were doing the overnights in Chicago. No, I think it was Dallas at this point. Yeah, it was. That's right, it was. So it was Chicago. Yeah. All right. So we're doing a late night show, right? And it was when we had first started to simulcast the show from Chicago into Dallas. So we get off the air. I got off the air from her home studio. She lived very far away. It was like an hour commute every day for me, but whatever. She had the nice house with the big fucking studio. So we did the show from there. So we used to get off the air at like 6 o'clock in the morning because we did 2 to 6. We did real overnights. We were there for the night people in our younger days. And I remember driving home, and I got home about an hour later. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And my ritual would be pick up some breakfast, eat some breakfast, and watch the Today Show. I was there. I was watching the Today Show when the shit went down. So I'll never forget. Later that afternoon, I had to walk my dog. My dog, Blue, my Husky T-Wolf hybrid. Oh, God, I love Blue. But can I tell you something? This is apropos of nothing. I love my dog, Blue. And those of you who remember me back then, you know how much I love my dog, Blue. I think I might like CeeLo more. I think CeeLo, I had a conversation with my dog CeeLo a couple of weeks ago where I told her, I said, look, you may have moved into the number one position of the dogs of my life. I just want you to know that. And then because she's the most loving little hell beast, she started licking my face. Anyway, apropos of nothing. I remember taking my dog Blue out for a walk around noon on that day, September 11th, 2001. And I used to walk my dog at these soccer fields. Yeah, and when I say soccer fields, in Orland Park, Illinois, it is about 15, 20 soccer fields all laid next to each other. It is a massive, gigantic athletic area in the middle of this neighborhood where I was living. And I used to take the dog out there to walk because I could let Blue off the leash and she could run and she go, all that stuff. Shit, I cannot do with CeeLo, by the way. Cannot let CeeLo off the leash, but I used to be able to let Blue off the leash. All right, you know what? Now that I think about it, Blue was so good. She was so good about coming back. And all right. So look, we're gonna have to figure out who my favorite dog of all time is. That's for later. But I remember about, afternoon walking the dog, and I let the dog off the leash, and I was standing there. And you have to understand that where I lived at that point on the south side of Chicago was in the flight path from Midway Airport, and there was also a portion of our sky that the higher planes would use to go into O'Hare. Something about the flight path. It was better to come over this way to land at those two airports, the two Chicago airports. So this was a strange little neighborhood that had air traffic from both airports. The Midway one was primary because planes were like getting really low. And it was always fucking just planes everywhere, constant. You got used to it. You lived in a neighborhood. And again, we're not talking about 500 feet off the ground where it's like rattling your windows, but there was always plane activity. Like you could always see the planes. I'm out there with my dog. It's 12 o'clock. Silence. Absolute silence. I'm looking up and it dawned on me. I'm like, this is not a normal day. There are no fucking planes. Commercial air traffic in America has been grounded. What is happening today? Two fighter jets just streak right across, like they were patrolling the fucking lakefront. Like they were patrolling the lakefront. It was one of the most startling things because it was an air and water show weekend, and it was absolute silence until it wasn't. Until two American military fighter jets decided to streak across a broad open sky at noon on a Tuesday. It shook me. I remember thinking to myself, holy fuck, the United States military is flying air cover over Chicago. Fuck. I mean, that was like a mind blower. What did that mean? I had no idea. What did that mean? What does that even mean? They were evacuating the Sears Tower. I mean, everybody, anybody that lived near a big building was a little bit concerned. The morning was crazy. So, I had the Today Show on the TV, and I was sitting at my computer when all this went down, and I was listening to who I always listen to in the morning. I was listening to Howard Stern. And I posted this earlier. You can go find it on YouTube. It was the best single radio broadcast I've ever heard in my life. The Howard Stern Show on a normal Tuesday back in 2001, doing their regular show. And then all of a sudden they had to change gears. And over the course of a few hours, and I would compel you, go to YouTube and find the full Howard Stern 9/11 show. It's easily found. I mean, it's probably 1 million people are probably listening to it today. Well, listen to that if you've got a long car ride. It was incredible. It was, I mean, from the very first report of something having hit to the way the callers start calling in, to them live on the air in real time, beginning to realize that this was something spectacular that was happening. So I want to leave you with this. I love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably a short show tomorrow, but I will try and do something tomorrow. I want to leave you with just a little clip of that morning from the Howard Stern show where they actually are told what's happening. It's fascinating. I think famously what I remember is I think he was talking about Pamela Anderson or something in the larger tape, and then suddenly there's a report. I don't know. I'm not calling it great broadcasting. Like, I'm not saying it was like a flawless production of this morning show. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying everybody that said something were right about what they said. What I am saying is this is a time capsule, and it is so fascinating. This is what we were thinking in the moment. Here it is. This is, I'm going to leave with this. Howard Stern's broadcast from September 11th. We're going to play. This is about 3.5 minutes of them actually realizing what is happening here. Here we go. I love you guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Tell when a woman's just being friendly.
Yeah, I heard she was into Beetlejuice too. I heard she came on to Beetlejuice.
Yeah, right.
You know how I know she wasn't interested with John? We sat with her for 2 hours, and they were talking about their kids a lot. That's a way you know.
Yeah. That's how you get in.
Hey, I should make I don't mean to interrupt the fun, but this is a breaking news story, a serious news story.
What?
A plane has crashed. Hold it into the World Trade Center.
You're kidding.
The World Trade Center is on fire, which is
what is going on?
Really? Let me look out my window.
It's the tallest.
Just heard you say that John made out with Pamela Lake.
Look out the window. You can see it, or you can.
I don't see any fire.
There's a fire at the World Trade
It's
Center.
on the other side, Ralph, from you.
Take a look, seriously.
Holy crap!
That's
Howard,
terrible.
I was just there. I was at a wedding right there.
Was it like one of those private planes?
Thank God you're alive.
Dude!
You see it?
Dude, it's just hot. Oh, my God. I got to go out on my roof. This is incredible.
See ya.
The whole thing is on fire.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, not a little fire.
No, it's huge.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
If a plane hits a building.
I gotta run.
How did it take so long to happen?
I'll call you back.
Right, I know. I'm always amazed.
Because a plane once crashed in the 40s. A plane crashed right into the Empire State Building, right in.
Right.
What kind of plane?
What kind of plane? Was it a private stupid plane?
I don't have any more details. I'm following this story.
I hope this wasn't one of those like terrorist kamikaze attacks.
You know what? He's preparing to
Let's get back to you and Pamela.
sit in on for Dan Rather. That's why he's being very serious.
Yes.
Taking over.
This is my
that slot.
audition. We go now to Sandra Rodriguez, who is on the site at the World Trade Center.
Hello.
Sandra? Hello, Howard. The fire is going very rapidly. Yeah, I'm going to be taking over Dan Rather when he retires.
Hey, Howard.
But it's a very serious story. I mean, I'm sure there's... but fortunately, it's early in the morning. Maybe not too many people are in the building.
Yeah, hope not.
You know what? That's a financial building. Those people get in really early.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. It's like
For the international market.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do they do there, though?
I'm not sure if the plane is... Like, a portion of the plane isn't actually stuck into the building.
It looks like something's
Where?
hanging out there.
Oh, I don't know if that's smoke or a piece of the
Can't
plane.
really tell.
Dude, it's really smoking, man.
Yeah. Huge fire.
It's like Towering Inferno, because once it gets started, what happens?
Imagine being
They
trapped in
built
there.
it better than that hotel.
Well, how are they going to get? They're not going to get hoses up there. They're going to have to rely on the sprinkler
Sprinklers
system.
and all that?
And you know how well they work in the city.
But the stairwells are all
You can't drag a hose up there? Wow.
Don't they have a ladder that goes that high?
I don't even know how you begin to fight that fire.
There was just a rumor. Somebody just called and said that on CNN a second plane just crashed into.
Stop it!
A second plane.
Wait
That's two
a
different
minute.
buildings.
They
Look
are
at that,
two
Howard
buildings, and
building.
that is lower.
That's what I
So it's a terrorist attack,
No,
isn't
they
it?
just that's what they're saying. That
It's got to be.
somebody just called in
Oh
with that.
my goodness!
Oh no.
A second plane might have crashed, and a second building is on fire.
Why does everyone go to the World Trade Center?
What do they do there?
It's a big target.
Landmark in New York.
Well, it's the biggest landmark in New York, really, isn't it?
Next to
It's the
Gary Steve.
tallest.
Oh my God.
And it's a place where people can be killed. Like, you can't take down the Statue of Liberty. Nobody's going to be killed there. We're totally too lax in this country. So you think it was two planes?
They're not sure.
They don't know.
But if it was one of those size planes, those are huge jets. Here,
Oh,
look
whoa.
At,
Oh, my
this is
God.
crazy.
We're
got
under
planes
attack.
Going into buildings.
We're under attack.
Yeah.
That's. Oh my God.
It's war. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, we
It's the
gotta
Japanese.
go.
It's Japanese.
This is Pearl Harbor.
It
Right,
is.
we gotta go bomb everything over there now.
Yeah.
We got to bomb the hell out of them. You know who it is. I can't say, but I know who it is.
I mean,
That's crazy.
This is more upsetting than me not getting Pam Anderson. What is that, Tom?
There it is. There it is. Yep, I see it.
Yeah.